Hey, I'm going for a walk, eh? Hey, this is in the series, The Martin Pariseau. Hey, you know, in September 2002, I rode a 3-cylinder BMW motorcycle, 1987, K75C. Not endorsing BMW, by the way, and certainly not Mercedes and Volkswagen. Oh, and did I mention? I'm mentioning it now. Before I finish all of my vlogs this year, because I know I'll keep being blocked because the lawlessness of Canada, and I'm not saying it's the worst country in the world, but it's apparent. Like, I'm not, you know, unless somebody very high profile with a lot of money and connections can support me, I won't be able to take all the people to court that I should be taking to court if Canada was really a country that follows the rule of law. So I won't be able to do it. So of course I'll be transparently naming names, reading emails, describing situations, pointing out their dates, their times. You know, I might even cite for you guys what the laws are or the human rights violations are. But I'm not going to bother spending the rest of my life taking people to court because, first of all, you can't win. Because when I win and they want to offer me money, I lose. I'm a culture repairer. What am I going to spend money on in broken cultures? So anyways, 2002 is, never walked here before, is I didn't know anybody driving from the National Capital Region of Canada, pretty toxic place, and going to Vancouver Island. And never been there, didn't know anybody there, didn't have a job, place to stay. Total unknown. Was already in rough shape, pretty poor. Arrived there with only $400 to my name. Had anxiety issues back then and all sorts of things that I knew I needed to get out of a toxic environment to address in my life. I just turned 32. Anyways, first year there was a big depression, and of course it wasn't unexpected. And then things got better. They got better to the point that, well, it's pretty impressive how well I got. And I'd like to thank Tom Beams, who passed away, but I think they burned his notes. I would have liked access. Anna Marie, who worked, I don't know, she still works there, on Barron's Road in Nanaimo, also can state a lot of my progress. Tom Beams knew me at the beginning, so he didn't live long enough to see a lot of my progress, but I wrote him a nice letter when he wrote his clients a letter when he discovered he had cancer that was pretty advanced, and I think he really appreciated what I wrote. And a lot of it, what I wrote to him, was kind of what I would have written to my grandpa, which was, don't worry about me, you helped set me on the right track, kind of thing. Even though I still got a lot to work on, you set me on the right track. That's all you could do. Anne Marie knew me for years, so you can check with her how much progress I've done. I mean, she was always saying, that's like a lot of progress, Martin. It's pretty impressive. And so yeah, that's a clean Phantom car there, all white, clean and white. Doesn't look Phantom anymore when it's too clean. Anyways, so Anna Marie would be one to show. I don't think, even though she hasn't been in touch with me for many years, I don't think she would assume that because my life became more separate from the norm, that it's because I somehow reversed my progress. I think she knew me long enough to know that could not likely be an issue. So that means, she could be a reference for all of the hard work I did. But they don't give the Order of Canada for leaving the toxic National Capital Region and making that much personal development progress. Because, for example, that wouldn't put Canada on the map. Somebody who develops a human operating system, It's not something that's rewarded during the Anthropocene in the world of the... Thanks for slowing down. So, pretty close to me, didn't cover the brake. what's the use having a driving school, eh, and teaching defensive driving? People don't want to apply it. Or they do for the first, like, 2 weeks of their life, and after that it's gone. What a waste of time to keep teaching driving during the accelerated decline of the human brain. Anyways, so Tom Beams really wanted to help me. He was a pretty darn cool guy. And he was one of the accountability role models I talked about in the article I wrote after 14 years on Vancouver Island, which was called Dear British Columbia Residents. And so, crap, it's getting cold. I hope my phone doesn't turn off. This is going to be posted past mid-March. It was recorded on the 11th. So Tom Beam said, yeah, to get these resources from the BC government, we need to get you approved, and you're pretty depressed right now. We don't know what else. Like, he had me assessed by a psychologist, I think for free in Ladysmith. But that was just to help, again, get a quick referral to a psychiatrist with Island Health, VHA. And, I'm all like, I'm arriving on Vancouver Island, like people would do in AA or NA meetings, although I've never had those issues, and releasing themselves. I haven't succeeded. I've kept repeating the same cycles in my life. And I'm ready to listen to advice, even try it, even though it might sound ridiculous. So when Tom Beams sent me to a psychiatrist, I really respected Tom Beams. The other psychologist, I can't remember much my opinion about him. I know one of the things is I was sent to Victoria one time. I rode my motorcycle there to be evaluated for different kinds of IQ, and I was above average. And that was at a time I was in rough shape. And so I'm beside a road on a bridge, and there's train tracks under me there. No trains moving right now, but when I'm off this bridge, the noise will be better. If you want to hear about my life, you'll have to hold on a few more seconds. You don't have to, and you won't be tested on this. And you can keep not caring if you want. It really won't affect the value I give myself. I know I have a lot of value because I've achieved many things in my life that I don't know anybody else who has. And rebuilding my brain from scratch a few times in my life when, I was in a fetal position, for example, some pretty serious achievement. Because to rebuild it at levels that were as functional as they were before it crashed again, for example, and doing it a few times, developed a kind of resiliency that I should be doing public speaking for if psychiatrists were interested in mental health. But they're interested more in being the elites of mental illness. So just like pharmaceutical companies, whether psychiatrists choose to prescribe a lot of drugs or not, is whether they're backlogged on their work or not. They don't want to make their work go away, especially if they think when they're screwing up their kids' lives that they might follow their footsteps and become psychiatrists too. They don't want the concept of mental illness to go away. They just want to come up with more types of them and help promote them, but in ways they don't even get. There's a lot of ways I'm pretty sure that psychiatrists now self-medicate a lot more than they help their clients self-medicate. Anyways, so Tom Beams, really respected him. And when I got to the office of this psychiatrist, and I gotta say, it's a little bit like I saw the mustache of the OPP officer in North Ontario when I pulled him over for not doing his job in my smart car. Don't want to promote Mercedes. Love the smart car. Don't want to promote Mercedes. And if more people drove the smart car, including in Canada, I tell you, we wouldn't be that far along in the Anthropocene. It's probably, like, especially the third version, the best vehicle ever made. And people think it's not safe when it is, and then really it just says, they don't trust their own driving skills. They know there's going to be damage on their vehicle soon. They prefer it's damage on a truck. I don't know. Okay. Because it looks cool. I don't know. It's like a scar. I don't know. So anyways, and it would be cheap, by the way, to replace some of the plastic parts with smart cars if it wasn't for Mercedes. All right, I have been digressing a lot. So I'll finish up. Anyways, when the psychiatrist in Duncan called Dr. Crosby Wattler, he actually, the RCMP guy here beside me, hey, pretty clean car too. When he came into the office, I tell you, it's almost like that guy who had the same kind of mustache, the OPP guy, from the Jim Carrey movies where he's a police officer. And, well, he didn't have a problem with me being here, the police officer, but there is a crosswalk here. It's just really hard to get to it. And, so, like, the psychiatrist comes into the office, Dr. Crosby Wattler, who did an entire career thinking he was awesome. Puts on his Facebook like he's a picture drinking wine when he retires. Most people disliked him, and of course they'll talk about that even more, people that worked with him after he retired. I taught driving a few lessons to one of his kids. Poor kid. Poor kid. And I can only imagine the wife like being married to this guy. But when he comes into the office and I meet him for the first time, this guy looks like a supervillain. I'm serious. Like a criminal mastermind supervillain. I would prefer getting counseling from Dr. Doom. I'm serious. But I respect Tom Beams. Made a promise to myself, I'm going to listen to what they have to say. Answer honestly. I remember one of the things I answered is talking about Harry Seldon, you know, in the Foundation series. So he used that, man, big time to include grandiosity. And yet, you know, if you kind of see my life, it kind of turned out like that, didn't it? Kind of turned out, I didn't come up with, and it's not like I was aiming this. I just told him I knew I was different from the norm, and I kind of seemed to be able to figure things out that others were having a hard time with, and I seem to have, you know, some solutions, and I kind of want to devote my life to that and not kind of just be somebody who gets a job full-time or whatever it is that I may like or not like, and raise kids that I probably wouldn't at that point have been good raising. So I remember telling him that, and of course he used that against me big time, like, this guy thinks he's a, you know, Christopher Columbus or whatever it is. And tried the medicines, all this. But of course, you know, like Tom Beams knew, yeah, take what he says with a grain of salt, but the way he filled out the form, you will certainly get approved on PWD. And now the province just won't dare get me off PWD because I suffer from species alienation, and I got so much data on their failures. If they do anything like challenge me at this time, they know that's the last straw for me to get a lawyer and really kind of show their human rights violations for decades and decades. Probably have to investigate so many things too. Investigate ICBC, Island Health, the Canada Revenue Agency, various doctors. You know, just a system that's broken and flawed, and that just kind of wanted to recycle various diagnoses of me that, you know, you don't even get a second opinion about, or you can't even like spend enough time with somebody to say, hey, what if it's this, the explanation is that, you know? Is that possible? Hey, that's my specialty. I tell you, I did an entire career breaking the system of mental health, so I know what I'm talking about. Because nobody's challenging me on it, because it's like I'm royalty. Right? Psychiatrists are royalty in something that people are so scared to challenge publicly. I'm not, except that, you know, I can't seem to take CISO to court. The last few times I sent emails to the court that I have to take to court first, so I could trust them to take CISO to court. They're claiming they didn't get my emails. Now, it is possible that certain northern communities of Canada, like I was in Ontario, had problems with Gmails reaching other parts of Canada. That's been an issue before. And Google is screwing up accounts right now, such as mine, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I will send them an email with my Hotmail and say, here's the screenshots of me responding to you. So, Le Grève de Gatineau, if you decide to close my file against you and or CISO, I've already posted that the interest I will charge you on the amount you shouldn't have even charged me in the first place, because I could prove my low income, you just didn't give a damn, is that the way I calculate interest, doesn't have to be yours, is a compound interest. So that means your bailiffs better get used to doing their job walking, because you'll have to sell the vehicles to pay this off. Anyways, Dr. Crosby Wattler. I can't believe this guy looks so much evil, and it turned out to be, but I still decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Seriously, like, it's... You try not to judge people for their appearance, but come on. I mean, you could do a cartoon movie, it's like... There's no way... Oh my god. Anyways, I'm gonna stop.